Praveen Munjal, and I've always loved photography. So I've always been fascinated with photography. It's only about in 2013 when I went and did a course with Jay Missel, the master guru of photography in New York, that I really began to understand photography in a different manner. So since then, there's been never a trip when I've not traveled with a camera. There's never been a meeting when I've gone outside of the country where I don't have a camera slung across my shoulder. So I love photography. I enjoy street photography, and I like the whole emotion that the street brings, and that's what I try to capture.
I'm Saina Munjal, and I've been doing photography since I was 6 or 7 years old because my dad used to take my brother and I out on shoots all the time. And I think that's when I developed my passion for it, because I really love telling people stories or seeing different perspectives on life and different walks of life. And I love being able to make a change through my photography.
I had always been fascinated by Leica. I knew the history of Leica for many, many years before I actually ventured into it. So I bought my first Leica, which was actually a huge jump for me. I bought the M240. This was way back, I think, in 2013 or somewhere thereabouts. And what drew me to it was the simplicity of the camera. While it was an absolutely outstanding camera in terms of the quality of the pictures, but it was a fairly simple camera. And also the manual focus of it. So I even invested into a Noctilux lens, which is a 50mm and a very non-forgiving lens. So I thoroughly enjoyed street photography, trying to use a Noctilux on a M240 for many, many years before then switching to a M11 camera. And I've got many stories to tell of what happened thereafter. So when I bought my camera, I remember the time I was sitting in one of the bars at the hotel in CP. And across the bar, I saw this person with a camera in his hand. And I went and introduced myself to him, and I asked him if that was the M240. And the M240 had just come out probably about 3 or 4 months back. And so he was stunned. He was surprised to know that not only did I know the camera, but I also knew the model. And we got talking, and he was a top photographer for Leica called Craig Smetko. He and I became great friends thereafter, and have been great friends for the past 10 odd years. And he and I have also done a joint exhibition. So not only did I buy a camera to start with, a Leica camera, but made great friendships thereafter using the camera or with the camera or because of the camera.
So I was introduced to Leica obviously through Papa. And I've tried many other cameras, but none of them have given me the same comfortable feeling that the Leica has, because I feel very artsy with it. I feel like I have control over what I click, and I feel like I can make it more artistic, more expressive, and show myself through it as well.
So I've been actually taking pictures of the kids right from the time that they were born. So I've taken thousands and thousands of pictures, and there's so many fond memories. The one that instantly springs to mind is actually of my son's birthday. I think it was his 15th birthday or 16th birthday, and we were in New York. And we'd gone to this Mexican restaurant. We finished dinner and we came out to Columbus Circle there, and you had all these fountains going up and down, and you had all this beautiful white light behind the fountains. And I remember Saina at that time was holding the balloons, the blue and red balloons that we had picked up from the restaurant, and she was holding them. And suddenly I got this silhouette of her with the balloons, with the water at the back and this light coming from the back. So it's a silhouette of her, and the balloons are red and blue colors you can clearly see. So that's an image which I have it's embedded in my mind. I love it. I've got it printed and it's in my office, and I have it in numerous other places. So that's one image which instantly comes to mind. Besides that, there are numerous thousands of other pictures which I can talk about. Our holiday is not complete without me taking hundreds and thousands of pictures of the kids posing in different forms, and a lot of them unposed as well.
So So I don't have like a dream shot, but a place that I want to visit again with Papa is New York or Varanasi or any place which is just bustling, is vibrant, has loads of stuff going on. Because I feel like that's so interesting when I go with him, because even though we might be looking at the same things, we each are focusing on different parts of that picture. We each have different perspectives and different stories, different point of views that we try to put across. So I think it's really interesting to see like what he would take versus what I would take, and to see our different personalities and our viewpoints through our photographs.
So I have, over the last decade or so, I've had numerous Leica cameras. Starting off with the M240, I've had the S, I've had the SL, I've had the SL2S, I've had the M11, I've had the Q2. And all of them serve a different purpose for me. So when I'm traveling, I find that the Q2 is an absolutely outstanding travel camera. It's lightweight, it's autofocus, it's a great camera. When I'm on the street, a lot of times I love to use the M11 or earlier the M240. Now I find the softness of the pictures that really come out of those lenses that I was using there, whether it was the Summilux 35 or it's a Noctilux 50. I find it very difficult to focus with the Noctilux 50 now because of it's quite an unforgiving camera. There's no better lens than that lens, but nevertheless it's an unforgiving lens. But the Summilux works brilliantly for me on a M11 now. So Leica, I find that while it has all the technology in it, yet there's a level of personal touch to it. There's a lot of adjustment that I'm constantly doing, which I had stopped doing with my other cameras when I was using them in between. So I love it for the simplicity, for having the technology there, and yet at the same time, for me, it's kind of a pure form of expression of photography. That's why I'm a great Leica fan. So for as long as I can remember, I've been taking pictures. And for me, that's a way of preserving or capturing those memories of that time. I've taken pictures of the children since they were born. I've taken picture of every holiday that we've gone on for the past 20, 25 years. I've taken pictures of every occasion that would have happened, whether it's their birthdays, could be graduation or whatever be the case. The kids have both, we are empty nesters. So my daughter's studying in a boarding school in UK, son was studying in a college in US. And for me, we had these pictures playing on our screensaver in our room all the time. And just brings back fond memories. So randomly a picture would pop up, which is where we would remember one of the vacations that we've taken or holidays that we've taken. And it also happens that, because I've been taking pictures of even friends' children and holidays, every time there's some occasion where they want pictures of their own children, they're asking me for them. I'm glad to see that the children have taken up photography as well. So our son took up photography, he then went off to college and he's going to come back and maybe he gets back to it. My daughter Saina, she's taken photography in a big way, much bigger than what I did at that point. So she's studying photography, going to take it forward in college as well. So I'm glad to see they're finding their roots with photography. For me, when I'm on the street, when I'm taking a picture, it's meditative for me. So that's the time when I'm at peace with the camera and at peace with everything else that's happening around me. It could be in Chandni Chowk, or it could be in New York, or it could be in Varanasi or Amritsar or where have you, in the hustle and bustle of these streets. But at that point of time, I am so focused on that picture that I forget everything else that's going on around me. And then subsequently to process that picture. Now that's something which is therapeutic for me, words. So I start thinking about that moment. I look at it from a very, very different perspective.
So I remember when we were younger, Papa used to make all of us pose so much in front of every single sign you could see. He'd make us pose in the oddest of places. And we used to get so annoyed because half of our day, half of the time used to go in posing for him. But then now when I look back at it, it's really nice and kind of nostalgic because I can remember what happened those times. And it's very nice to look at those and feel those happy memories again. And also, I think it was nice to have both my brother Shivom and Papa do photography because it was like a common interest that the three of us had. And we were able to talk about that, bond upon that, and just, I think it grew, it made us all very close. So, yeah.
So photography for me is a great means of capturing emotions of people, and that's what I enjoy the most. So I love the street for all the hustle and bustle it also brings. but also all the emotions of people that I'm able to capture. So I've got numerous stories from the last decade or so that I've been really shooting actively. And these stories, some of them are heart-wrenching. There was a story of a couple whose picture I took on Brooklyn Bridge. They were visiting New York from Copenhagen. And eventually when I sent them the picture, the husband wrote back saying that the wife had passed away because she had some terminal illness. But this picture was on their bedside table when she passed. And this is one of the prettiest pictures that they've got of them as a couple. So there are numerous such stories which I've got, which really bring out the emotions even in me. And that's what I'm trying to capture of the people on the street whose pictures I'm trying to take.
I think for me, photography is all about changing lives or actually trying to make some change. So I like to take photographs which represent society, which represent cultures and diversity, just trying to highlight that. So I'm actually working with an NGO called Salam Balak Trust, where I've been taking photographs of some of the kids, and I've been using that. I've made bags out of it, and I've just done everything I can. I'm having an exhibition just to raise money for the kids through my photography. So that's why I believe that our art or my art can really bring about a change, whether it's to one life or two lives. That's what I want to do, and I think that's the future of photography.
So over the last decade or so, I've had numerous Leica cameras, right from the M240 to SL2, SAS, SL2S, M11, the Q2. And I use different cameras for different occasions. So my go-to camera is the M series. So earlier M240, now it's the M11. And with this, I try and use the Noctilux lens, the 50mm, which is by far the best lens, according to me, in the world. But a lot of times I also switch back to the Samilux 35mm, which I use with the M. So this is a wonderful, wonderful camera. The other camera that I use quite extensively is actually the Q2, and now looking to switch to the Q3. That's a great camera for travel. It's lightweight, it's automatic, so I don't have any issue giving the camera to somebody else to take a family picture of us. I can't possibly do that with the M. Nobody understands the M the way that I do. Also, when it's anything which has got more action to it, then I switch back to the SL series. But again, all the time, my go-to camera is the M. That's what I love the most.
This is the SL2S. Although I don't have my own Leica camera, I've been asking Papa for it for years, but he says that once I get serious, I can have it. But I'm studying it, but apparently I'm still not serious. So hopefully someday. But yeah, this is a very good camera. I used it for a studio shoot recently, and I found that it was just way easier to use than most other cameras, and the precision and quality was really good as well.
My go-to camera is actually the M11 using a Noctilux lens, 50mm. I think that's probably the best combination of a camera that you can possibly get with the lens and the camera. This is my camera of choice. What's yours? Share with us.